Hi y'all, this is Brian from Blitzkrieg Components, and today I have our 9mm active buffer and a couple buffer springs here just to discuss what selection of spring that you should use with our 9mm active buffer depending on what kind of gun you're running, what kind of barrel length. The barrel length on a 9mm AR-15 does make a difference in how the gun cycles. If you have a longer barrel, it's going to be more energy on the bolt and it's going to drive the bolt harder. If you got a shorter barrel, it's not going to drive it quite as hard. Same thing goes for the ammunition selection. Obviously a plus B or plus B plus is going to run the bolt a little harder, and the heavier bullets will run the bolt harder for the same amount of energy. So a 147 grain will generally run harder than a 115 grain, unless that 115 grain is a plus P or plus P plus. But the barrel length does make a difference, and that's the easiest general rule to go by when you're selecting the spring. Just to give you a close-up on our 9mm buffer, this is our active buffer. Has a high-strength polymer piston head. It's secured in the front end of the buffer body, and this is our improved rear bumper with a really tough bumper material on the back, and it's a thicker bumper than normal, and it actually compresses more than a regular AR-15 rear bumper. This is a stainless steel body, and then this front piston actually compresses about 1/10 of an inch or maybe 0.15 inches under recoil from that 9mm bolt, and it has a elastomer shock absorber on the inside, so you get a two-stage buffering action from the piston in the front and the improved bumper on the rear. The weight is 5.5 ounces and the length is 4 inches, so good all-around weight and size for a 9mm. Will stop your bolt right behind the bolt catch on an AR-15 so that you won't get bolt catch breaking from having too much momentum going forward when it hits the bolt catch. And the spring selection here, I have a AR-10 carbine spring and an AR-15 extra power carbine spring, and those are generally the two types of springs we would use with our 9mm active buffer. If your barrel length is 10 inches or greater, up to the 14.5 inch and 16 inch carbines, and generally anything 10 inches or more, will run really well and reliably with any type of ammo with the AR-10 carbine buffer spring. And if you're less than that, generally the 8.5 inch barrels on down to the short 4.5, 5.5 inch barrels, those will run best with an extra power AR-15 buffer spring. And that's generally the dividing line of what runs best, and gives you a pretty good leeway on the type of ammo as well. If you want to use plus Ps or 147 grains, or you want to shoot it suppressed, all that's fine. With those barrel lengths, that generally is the best way to go. And you can go all the way down to a standard light 115 grain load, or even lighter loads, and it should run reliably and lock back on the last round. And you can shoot plus Ps as well, and it'll still run great. So generally the best rule of thumb is just go by that barrel length. If it's over 10 inches or more, use the AR-10 buffer spring, the carbine buffer spring, and if it's less than 10, then use the extra power AR-15 buffer spring. And our buffer will give you a lot more buffering action than a standard 9mm buffer or a heavy buffer, and it'll feel softer and it'll run quieter and give you a great all-around performance. So check them out on our website, and we think you'll be pleased. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call or email, but a lot of information on our website, and all these parts are available for sale there too at www.blitzkriegcomponents.com. Thank you.